Welcome to Staying Sweet, the podcast. Tune into my weekly podcast to hear me, Alice Bradley, delve deeper into building your brand and enjoying a luxury lifestyle. All while staying sweet, of course. Whether you're looking to level up in business, start something of your own, or balance a more exciting, fulfilling, and healthier lifestyle, each episode will be created especially to inspire and encourage your own success so you can really have it all. Plus, don't miss out on the Staying Sweet specials, a series of exclusive interviews and conversations with Alice Bradley's network of inspiring entrepreneurs and brand owners. Always protect your sweetness, your light is not a weakness. Don't forget, there are new episodes every Monday. For daily content, you can check out my Instagram and you can follow me at alicelucybradley. Stay sweet! Hey guys, and welcome back to a solo episode of Staying Sweet, the podcast. I'm really happy to have you here joining me today. I know it's a solo episode, so it's going to be a little bit different from the kind of episodes you've been listening to recently. I really like to mix it up on here, and it's been absolutely lovely having friends and people within the industry coming and chatting. I've got a whole host of people as well on the sort of list ready to go to kind of work with me. And I guess really the reason behind the solo episode this week is I am sick. I'm not quite sure if you guys can tell or if I sound all right on the mic, but I have caught yet another cold, and I don't know what it is. I feel like lately life has just been so go that my body is just not having enough time to kind of recoup. I'm finding London quite stressful and just really needing to listen to my body. I found I had like one really amazing event in London, came home, and that was it. It kind of just like took it out of me completely. So I have been a little bit run down, and I actually inevitably had to cancel my plans for the rest of the week. I had loads of things going on in London, and really cool things actually, but they just sadly weren't meant to be. But I guess you really do have to listen to your body, and it's what I've been trying to do more so yeah, I feel like this episode really is going to touch on listening to your body, listening to yourself, and becoming that girl. Yes, I said that, girl. This is quite a controversial trend and quite a controversial sort of topic. I feel like people take it how they want to kind of take it, and I think it's a trend that's very easily misconstrued, and it can be seen almost in a toxic light. But I really want to chat to you guys about how it can be a real positive and a real mindset shift. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the that girl trend, and if you guys aren't familiar with what that girl basically entails and what it means, it's essentially the ultimate you. It's the ultimate girl, that girl who has her life together and is doing the best that she possibly can to better herself. So yeah, I feel like we're going to have a real chat today about becoming that girl and just focusing on being the best version of yourself. So yeah, I feel like we should definitely touch on some updates first before jumping straight in. As you guys know, I've been sick, so that has been, I guess, one of the updates for the week. Listening to my body, cancelling plans, knowing when to just say no. Sometimes I'm really bad at saying no, and yeah, cancelling plans. I hate being that person that has to turn things down or say no to an opportunity, but I guess everything has its purpose, and I guess those reroutes are so important for our mental well-being. I feel like I definitely would have been burnt out had I gone to all the events I was supposed to this week. So I guess that's a positive. At the beginning of the week, though, I was at this fantastic event. I went to a Katie Loxton Mother's Day event, which was incredible. It was a bake-off style event, so we actually got to make a replica of the Cara crossbody bag from Katie Loxton, and it was just a fantastic event. It was hosted on behalf of Katie Loxton. She was actually there herself, and also Be The Agency, who I absolutely adore. Really love the girls there, and just love the PR agency as a whole. I think they're a fantastic group of women. Really, really lovely PR agency, and yeah, I just had the most fantastic time. Really lovely group of girls and bloggers who were there, and yeah, it was just incredible. It was such a great experience, and we got to bring our mother figures and sort of mothers with us. I was able to bring my nan with me, and yeah, I had so much fun just baking and getting creative. It was also really lovely just to have a bit of a different creative outlet and just try something new. Like, I love baking, and I don't really make much time for it at home, even though I have like a standalone mixer that I've literally not even opened, guys. Like, that's how bad I've been with just taking time to just do things that are more fun and carefree and less sort of focused on work and what it is that I'm doing for my job. So yeah, I feel like it was a really, really lovely event. It was a nice sort of opportunity to switch off and to just get those creative juices flowing in a different way. I really do enjoy baking, and yeah, it was honestly like the Great British Bake Off. It was one of those Bake Off tents. We had a station each, we had a mixer, we had our own ovens. Like, honestly, it was the coolest thing. And in the corner of the room there was this station of like candies and flavours and colourings, like all these amazing like options to pick from. And it just made me think, like, sometimes you just have to get out of your head a bit and just be really fun and creative and silly and doing things without the need for perfection. We ended up making the Cara crossbody, and yeah, the cake wasn't perfect, but it doesn't matter. It was just such a fun experience, and it was so lovely seeing how creative everybody else was, and just honestly the most fantastic group of women. So yeah, really, really happy with that event. But sort of coming home from that event, it just totally burnt me out, and not even in a negative way. I think I just had so much fun, and it was a full day of activities. And then to sort of come home, commute back from sort of central London in to the countryside again, it was just, my body just does not cope well with all the commuting sometimes. But yeah, I feel like I needed to listen to my body this week, and that's what I've really been doing. Another thing that I've been really sort of focusing on this week is, in this time, I guess, of just nothingness and cancelled plans, just listening to my body, journaling more. I tell you guys, I've wanted to be on my journaling game again for so long. I feel like when I'm journaling and when I'm writing like almost word for word specific things that are happening in my life, I find I get so much less stressed about situations, and I get like this mental clarification that just I can't get any other way. I guess maybe in therapy, but I haven't done therapy in a long time. I actually do really miss seeing my therapist, who I'm actually going to try and get on this podcast because she was fantastic, and definitely someone that I want to kind of rave about and shout about. But yeah, I guess journaling really is a form of therapy. I love writing poetry, and I just love expressing my feelings, and a lot of the time it's just a creative outlet. It's a silly kind of escape. Sometimes I'm trying to be funny with it, and that again is like a way for me to kind of cope with certain situations. And I really do enjoy getting my life written in a journal, because even if I don't look at it like straight away, I do revisit things, and it's really nice to kind of look back on even like negative things. I look back on and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened, and I'm so proud of myself for overcoming that situation and being able to move on. So yeah, there's a real positive in journaling, and it's something that, I don't know, I really want to get back into doing daily and just showing up for. It doesn't really have to be perfect either, and I think that's why I was procrastinating it. I just felt myself needing to be perfect in every way in this journal, and this journal was not going anywhere. Like, it's literally for me and me only, so I don't really know why I was getting so in my head about it and just dwelling on it so much. But yeah, I feel like I love vlogging and I love creating this like social media coverage of my life and my existence, but journaling is a different type of intimacy. Writing is a different kind of intimacy. And just pen to paper, me in my own space, like writing things down, it's just so much nicer to have those kind of intimate thoughts written down. And yeah, they don't have to be perfectly executed. They're just thoughts at the end of the day that you're kind of articulating down onto paper. So yeah, I guess my updates really for this week have been a little bit run down, fun events, and more journaling. So my affirmation for this week, guys, it really is quite a nice one to focus on, and I guess kind of encompasses this whole idea of becoming that girl. And it's only you can control your perspective. And I didn't really realise just how negative all my thoughts have been lately, and just so unnecessarily negative, guys. And I think mainly in the realm of like dating and guys, like I know it's not really on brand for this podcast, but I guess opening up to kind of like the wider me, I guess I've been quite negative about dating and men and just my perspective on certain situations and like reading certain things, and yeah, just allowing myself the possibility of good things happening to me. I just feel like because I've had that negative mindset, more negative things have kind of been coming my way, and I just want to nip that in the bud. And I guess that really does tie in well with becoming that girl, and just yeah, attaching yourself to this person that is much more self-aware. I think that's going to be more beneficial to me. Other things have really been kind of impacting that negativity and that negative mindset, things in like the wider world, and you know, serious issues that are going on that we know about, like Ukraine and Russia, and just this division, this constant division in society that I'm feeling this pull with, even more so now this year than sort of previous years that we've kind of been experiencing all this turmoil. And every time I open a news page, I just think, how can it get any more negative? So yeah, I just feel like wider world issues, you know, we're currently battling so many little things that kind of amass up to one big issue. And then you've got other things that are impacting our day-to-day lives, like gas and electric bills going up, and just the cost of living increasing, and this fear that we are kind of spiraling into this just like pure abyss of negativity. And I really don't want to be that person, but when you're consuming so much data and so much information that is telling us that the world is literally going to pot, it can be really hard to kind of pull yourself out of that negative spin. I just want to get myself in that headspace of, okay, that is happening, but this is what we can do to be more positive, and this is how we can still have a good life without being overcome with this negative, you know, belief, this negative mindset. So yeah, I just think I've been really trying to get to grips with my perspective on situations. Only you can control your perspective. And I think every situation has, you know, multiple perspectives. We can take it as face value, what we're initially seeing it as and what we're believing it to be. And then I think we can really learn things from the positive side and the positive spin of certain situations. So yeah, I feel like we should talk about it today. So I'm going to try and keep today's episode quite light-hearted, I guess. I know that was quite a heavy intro, but I want to talk about becoming that girl and what it means to me, and what it probably means to a lot of people who are, you know, wanting to become the best version of themselves. So for me, I was kind of thinking about it and writing down like what would be my that girl. Like, who would I want to look up to? Who would I want to aspire to be like? And, you know, those kinds of traits that I'd want to impart in my own life to be a better person. And I think the top one that came through was organisation. I feel like I can organise until the cows come home, but for some reason I will still sit there and procrastinate my whole entire life away. And I think organisation isn't just about writing a to-do list. It's really refining how you like to achieve goals and how you like to tick things off your to-do list. Some people don't even like to write to-do lists. And organisation for me, I guess, is a clear, immediate space. I get very easily distracted. I'm literally sat at my desk right now and I'm looking around and thinking, thank God I cleared my desk, because I would be fiddling and faffing right now. I would not be getting on with my work. I would be procrastinating. And I think organisation really can help refine how well you achieve certain tasks and how quickly you do things. I don't know if anyone is the same as me, but I have certain tasks that I will kind of start doing because I don't want to get on with the bigger task or the task that I actually do need to get on with. So I am quite multifaceted, as we know, jumping in and out of different skill sets and different projects, and I'm constantly moving around and flitting. But the thing that I really, really struggle to do consistently and just sitting down and doing it is writing. Writing is, I don't even want to say it's the bane of my life, because it isn't, and I love it. I absolutely love writing, but I have to be in a certain mindset. And I've really found that if I have a messy desk or I have other tasks that I need to do, I will literally not sit and write. You could not make me write. It just won't come out. The thoughts won't be there. Another thing as well is pressure. If I have no pressure for the task, I won't do the task. I literally will not get it done. But if somebody is literally yelling at me or emailing me and saying, Alice, where the hell is that article? I will literally get it done in 20 minutes and it will be the best work that I've done in months. I think it's quite common actually with writers and creative people. When they're not being pushed, it's really hard to get any work out of them. If they've got all the time in the world, you will literally not see any work or any show for all the time that they've had available. And yeah, I think organisation really comes into that, and it's something that I need to get better at, and I just want to come to peace with. I think I write a lot of to-do lists and I put a lot of pressure on myself, and the lists are ridiculous. They're endless long lists, but am I actually achieving stuff? Probably not. Whereas if I wrote myself a small, short to-do list, I probably would feel much more productive and I would actually tick things off. Another thing as well is I forget to add things to my to-do list, and I think I probably could do that to kind of trick my brain into thinking that I'm more organised. So just having more frivolous tasks on there might help, like making my bed. Even though I make my bed like every single day, I feel like if I ticked it off, it would feel like I have my life more organised. So yeah, I think organisation is a really easy one to kind of reel off the top of my head, but organisation is so much more than just writing things down. Like it's how you like to learn, it's how you like to work, and not everyone is going to be the same. So I would never advise someone to be organised in a certain way. And I remember this at school, and I particularly remember university being a real moment for me when I was like learning to learn again. I remember having presentations in uni, and they were these really ridiculously long presentations that I'm the type of person, if I'm sitting and writing something down off the board, I'm not taking it in. Like, I'm just writing it down as quickly as I possibly can. But my lecturers could not understand that that's what I needed to do. So I would ask them to put and upload the presentations up onto the portal or whatever, and I would get them to kind of upload it so I could print it off, have all the notes there, have everything on the slides like all printed out in like tile view, and then I would annotate. And honest to God, it made me learn so much better. It was my kind of organisation. Some of the lecturers did not understand why that was beneficial to me, but it was so much better for me to have all the notes there than to be kind of stressing and worrying about needing to write something down accurately. Like, I could just sit and actually listen and take in the information, and they'd often add like anecdotal things and, you know, other key quotes that, had I been just scribbling down what they were saying, I would not have taken in, and it would just have been a total waste of time. So yeah, I think organisation is something that I've really, over the years, been learning to learn about, and is a real key to kind of becoming that girl. Another thing for me is a healthy and well-balanced lifestyle. I feel like my life lately has not been great, and I guess maybe I'm beating myself up. Maybe I am being negative in this podcast, but I have not been giving myself the focus on my health that I probably should have been. And you can tell because I'm run down, I'm not, you know, feeling my best. I am working out in the gym, but I know I'm not pushing myself like I used to. Now, I don't know whether it's because we're out of lockdown and life is just kind of flying by and we're doing other things, but I feel like I'm not putting in the effort that I was putting in when we did have all that time off. I really focused on my health, and I was the fittest I have ever really been when I was in lockdown. So that has been a hard sort of pill to swallow, and just kind of balancing the lifestyle of, okay, I want to go out and have fun, and I want to, you know, flit about London and have fun with my friends, but also on the other hand, I want to be my best, strongest self. So striking that balance is really hard to master, but when you do master what makes you feel, you know, your best self, that is when you'll become that girl. And yeah, I feel like I want to get back onto my sort of health kick and eating a lot better. I haven't been fully vegan, and I know that's not something that I want to 100% be for the rest of my life, but I want to be a good majority vegan. Like, I want to be 95% vegan, and I feel like I've been, you know, snacking on things that aren't making me feel good. So yeah, I'm calling myself out, and it's okay. I feel like these types of chats with ourselves, opening up about what we're actually doing, it's important. It's important to not always give ourselves that benefit of the doubt. Sometimes we have to actually say, look, we could be doing better, because it's the only way to progress forward. Now, another thing that is on my list, and it's so ironic because I feel like I have been beating myself up in this podcast, but being kinder to the mind. So less negative self-talk. I don't even know where this negative self-talk has started to kind of stem from, but in the last sort of maybe 6 months, I have just got myself into such a negative mindset. And it's so silly because I was doing so great and I was really feeling aligned with myself spiritually and physically, and it was almost like a switch one day, and I just found myself speaking to myself so negatively. Like, I'd be in the gym and I'd be lifting and I'd be saying, oh my gosh, you're not strong. You used to lift, 12, so now you're lifting 4s. Like, I'm literally struggling in the gym because I'm almost affirming it to myself, and I keep having to call myself out on it because I'm spotting it way more than I've ever spotted it, and I don't even know where it's coming from, but I'm just constantly saying to myself that I'm not good enough and I'm not achieving enough. And yeah, I think the last few months I've really been getting myself upset about the fact that I live at home and I haven't moved out of my family home. I live in my childhood bedroom, and I've made lots of sort of jokes about that. And I think it's important to be jokey because there are so many people who are experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing. I'm not alone in the sort of, being single and living in my family home. Like, it's totally normal, but it's almost as if I see it as a big strike of failure, and it's so silly because it does not define my success and it doesn't define how hard I'm working. Yet I'm still so negative to myself about it. So yeah, I think I want to be kinder to myself about where I am on my journey and not putting so much pressure on myself to have everything aligned and ticked off my list, I guess. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know whether it's because I'm noticing more people are moving out and buying their first home and getting engaged and having babies, that I'm just sort of seeing my generation of my peers kind of getting to that stage in their life. And it's not to say that they're not feeling the same way about me. Like, they could literally be feeling the same. They could be feeling like I'm doing something that they're not. So, you know, it's not a one-sided thing, but when you're in your feels about it, it really does feel isolating. And yeah, I feel like when we're really looking at the negative self-talk, I think it's something that I'm beating myself up a lot about. And because I'm being quite open about it, I think maybe I'm just like allowing myself to be more negative about it. I don't know, like an example would be I occasionally joke about it on TikTok, and for some reason those are the TikToks that just blow up. Like, the ones that are always negative seem to blow up, and it's really interesting that so many people kind of thrive off negativity. And I'm not even saying like my posts are negative, but it's always my jokey things that have a negative connotation about men, or a negative connotation about being single, or something jokey about dating or whatever. Those are the TikToks that always take off. It's never really the positive stuff. And it really has got me thinking that maybe like I'm just sitting in a negative frequency and I just need to snap out of it. So yeah, quite interesting that I've kind of noticed that in my life. I don't know whether you guys ever feel the same about TikTok, or you find yourself engaging more and like laughing more at negative things, but I can't really remember the last time I like engaged with something that was crazy positive and I remembered it. I feel like you only seem to remember the bad things, or like the crazy things that happen, or the toxic things that happen on TikTok. So yeah, I feel like I need to just retrain my algorithm a little bit, both on the app and in my actual waking life. I need to retrain my own personal algorithm to be less negative about certain things and what people have in their lives. So when I was really looking at becoming that girl and what it means to me in this new definition of who I want to become to be a better person, I was really looking at other areas of my life that maybe I haven't really been tapping into as frequently as I probably should, and being more serious about. And I think one of those things is financial decisions and making good financial choices. I really think a strong, independent, individual knows how to look after themselves financially and has a really good sort of money mindset and is financially focused, and I don't know, just has a bit of an awareness of what they're doing, what they're spending, and is just not necessarily careful with money, but just is making careful decisions and at least practicing some sort of financial self-care. I've really been looking at what is working for me and what isn't. It's not been a particularly like crazy financial month for me, so I've been just streamlining my costs and looking at subscriptions and things that I'm spending my money on. One thing that I spend so much money on, guys, and it's, Kirsty Allsop went out and said it, but coffees. And I know it's not going to buy me a house overnight, but just looking at how silly my finances can be in coffee shops and this like unnecessary need for a coffee when I'm waiting around for someone or I've got half an hour to kill. I just feel like there's this constant demand for us to have to spend money in order to be in a certain space like a coffee shop or be out of the house, and it's so stupid. Like, we don't need to be spending money to just be outside and be out and about. And I think I would just buy myself coffees when I was on my own as a little bit of like a time waster. Like I would literally be waiting around for a client and I'd buy a coffee and I wouldn't even drink it. Like I'd drink half of it because the client would then show up and, you know, it wasn't exactly professional to be holding a coffee and shooting. So just nipping those types of things in the bud, not having the need to constantly be picking up things unnecessarily and just spending money on things that I don't need to be spending money on, having better financial choices in line with putting money aside and saving money each month, not being afraid to say no as well to certain, you know, activities and excursions, and yeah, just having that financial I guess financial strength and belief in myself that I can make good financial decisions. It's definitely something that I think is a trait of that girl who just knows what she wants, is driven, has maybe a goal in mind, wants to put, you know, money down for rent or a house or maybe starting a family. And taking action. I think showing up for yourself and your goals, I think that really ties nicely into financial decisions, because if you know what your goals are, you can really put in a plan and have like a strategy in motion for achieving those goals. And I think having financial decisions in place is a really great way to get yourself closer to your goals. And if, you know, a goal is having a house or buying a house, or buying a car, it doesn't even have to be materialistic. It could be, you know, just being out and about with friends more and traveling and things like that, doing things that do cost money, but just having, you know, a bit more of a financial awareness. I think all those things really do tie in to showing up for your goals. That girl does not need to be a toxic, you know, belief system. It's not about being skinny and working out and doing the 12-3-30 and, you know, having to tick off all these things on a to-do list because everybody else is doing it. This is not at all what that girl is. It's about streamlining your routine, I guess. It's about the little things that kind of go into your day-to-day that really are going to align you well with your bigger goals. So another thing that I see quite often with that girl trends, or people talking about, you know, changing your life and putting in this crazy routine, having all these crazy steps, getting up at 5 a.m, having a routine will not make for a perfect life. And that is because progress is not linear. We have to remember that things are going to hit us and come out of nowhere and be total curveball situations that we cannot even predict or plan for. And, you know, we've had this with the pandemic, and we've had it with wider world issues. We've had it with price increases and cost of living hikes. Like, there are going to be things that come into our lives that we cannot fully control, but we have to adapt to. And that is why progress really is not linear. And we can't just suddenly put into play this routine and suddenly expect our lives to be perfect when, you know, this isn't a one and done situation. You really have to revisit your goals often. You have to revisit your routines often. And, you know, I spoke about goal setting at the beginning of the year when I first started this podcast, and I've already changed my vision board twice, and I've already revisited my goals list. One, because I've actually achieved some things on there, which is fantastic, but also because there were things on there that immediately weren't aligning with what I actually do want from this year, because things have come into play and these new things will come into your life and might completely change your perspective. So you really can't look at progress as being a linear, you know, strategy. It's not going to be like that. So yeah, you really have to move on from things that no longer align with you and align with your vision. But you also need to revisit the goals that you have achieved. And maybe you've achieved things and, you know, you need to you need to take a moment just to celebrate things that have gone well and make a note of it. And I think I'm one of those people that just does something and then doesn't actually really celebrate it in any way, just goes, right, okay, next thing that I need to do, right, let's crack on with that. And I think that's what's probably spiraled me into a negative mindset and a negative sort of frame of mind, because I'm not actually sitting in any success. I'm constantly comparing myself to other people and almost captivated by somebody else's success to the point of obsession. Like, you could literally look at what somebody else is achieving and think, oh my God, and you start analysing every single facet of their win and their success without even thinking about how you've ever done that for yourself. And I'm so guilty of doing that. Like, I do not give myself credit for some of the things that I've done, and I think it's very easy to kind of get in your head about one thing that somebody has achieved, and that might be, you know, a huge win for them, but it might not be, you know, what you need to be focusing on right now, because actually you've done some great things too. Celebrating your own success is not going to make you a shitty person. It's not going to make you, you know, stuck up or egotistical. It's not. You really do need to take a moment to celebrate what you've done. And I think journaling your successes, celebrating your wins in something tangible is probably a good place for you to kind of put your thoughts and your emotions, because I think it's very easy to just go, oh yeah, that was great, okay, cool, and then move on. And then, you know, a year down the line, you're going to forget that thing that you've achieved because you're so in your head and you're 10 steps forward from that previous place, but you didn't realize that that was a really big win for yourself. You'll forget the moments that were so big to you because you just, you know, moved on. So I think it's really important to write down what is going well in your current life, like things that feel like really big wins. And it's just going to make you feel more grateful when you do kind of get further and further down the line and into your journey, because you're going to look back at all the steps that you took and all the wins that you had and feel more fulfilled than somebody who just goes full steam ahead to the finish line and looks back and goes, oh, I can't really remember what I achieved because I didn't stop to kind of take it in. So yeah, I think about progress as being a very up and down road. It's an up and down road. It's going to take you left. It's going to take you right. It's not going to be linear. And just embrace it. Really sit in those moments that go well and revisit the goals that you do have. And don't be afraid to kind of, you know, wipe the slate clean and start something new. I think I've really had to look at my routine and what's working well for me, and there's a lot of things that haven't been working well that I need to revisit, and it's something that I'm doing right now. You know, I really don't want to be getting burnt out every 2 weeks, but yet here we are. Somehow I keep getting run down, so there's obviously something that I could be doing better to kind of feel better in myself and feel sort of more aligned with I don't know, just like a better strategy, a better work strategy. And yeah, I think getting more sleep is one. Like, I'm really bad at just switching my bloody phone off and turning off TikTok. As much as I love TikTok, it is incredibly addictive. I find it really hard to get myself out of the vortex. If I'm stuck on there, I'm stuck on there for like 2 hours. And for some reason, it just grips you at night. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like I get a notification and I open the app and then that's it. I'm sucked in. And I'm constantly on there for research on what I think is research, but actually I'm just being completely sucked in. So yeah, I think having a bit of a better relationship with social media would be a good start as well. I think we can really just see how that girl and the that girl trend is more of a mindset shift than anything else. It's about lots of small habits that are going to create this lifestyle shift for you, and you really have to just take the time to look at the goals that you have maybe for the next year and the things that you want to achieve maybe in the next sort of 5 years, 10 years, look at the bigger picture and actually work out, okay, what in my day-to-day routine is going to impact me or get me closer to that, end goal. And I think I was just in this state of denial that the goals that I was kind of reaching towards were just so out of alignment with me and so far in advance and such big, crazy goals that it just seemed like if I start now, I'm not going to see any progress and it's going to make no difference. But that is where you really have to kind of nip things in the bud, shake it off, shake off the negative vibes, and just kind of get yourself into this frame of mind that every small step forward is going to get you there. It's progress at the end of the day. And yeah, less negative self-talk is really going to be, beneficial to making you feel more in alignment with the success that you're preparing yourself for. So yeah, I know it's something that I definitely need to do more of to feel aligned with my goals. I need to just strategize. I need to sleep better. I need to get off TikTok. I need to, stop burning myself out because it doesn't help anyone. It just makes me feel more exhausted and drained. And I don't know, you guys might be feeling the same way. You might be constantly burnt out and just feeling like you're just spiraling out of control with kind of working crazy hours and then feeling completely overwhelmed and exhausted. So yeah, I think for me, if I'm waking up at a good time in the morning, I'm going to be feeling more aligned with, the goals that I want to achieve. And in order to do that, I need to prepare. I can't just go, right, I'm going to wake up early in the morning and not do things the night before to kind of help benefit that early morning rise. And that's why preparation is key. Getting yourself, an early night, preparing and like packing and unpacking your bags or laying out your gym gear, the night before, actually having a strategy for the day before is going to be, so helpful to getting yourself more aligned and just into a better routine. I think it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna drink more water or I'm gonna go to the gym. Like actually having a strategy, going, right, okay, tomorrow at the gym, this is what I'm going to do. Having a plan is just going to be a bit more of a better strategy, I think, than just winging it. Some people can wing it. I personally don't think I can, but yeah, I feel like the that girl trend is just a really interesting, I don't know, I feel like it's a phrase that's just gone to kind of cover up the girl that does everything, or like the girl that just ticks everything off her to-do list. It's kind of the same vibe, but I just really wanted to spin it in a good way and make it a more sort of positive mindset shift. Like it is an achievable thing. It's not meant to make you feel crap about yourself or make you feel like you're not achieving enough or that your breakfast isn't pretty enough. It's really just finding a routine that is for you. You are that girl at the end of the day, and it's going to be a strategy that's going to impact your success. Also as well, I feel like I've been talking about that girl, but nobody's really spoken about there being a that guy trend. Haven't seen a that guy trend. There might be one out there, I don't know, but again, make it for you. It's about you ultimately. So yeah, I feel like this podcast has been a little insight into the trend. If you haven't seen it before, then welcome. This really is a trend that I'm seeing a lot of. I feel like it's been going on for about a year now, so it's definitely nothing new, but it's something that's really sort of impacting the TikTok arena, and it's just another trend that we're seeing. So I really wanted to cover it and chat about it today. So yeah, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Let me know what kind of strategies you might be putting in play for your that girl routine. What is going to be making you feel on top form? And it doesn't even have to be writing in a journal or going to the gym. Like, you don't have to do those things. It's just a suggestion. And I think that's what it really comes down to. It's about making a routine that works for you. So I really hope that you guys take, what you want from this podcast episode, and you don't put too much pressure on yourself. Progress is not linear, and find things that work for you, and I promise you, life will just align in the best possible way.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Staying Sweet, the podcast. If you enjoyed listening, please do leave a review, and I will catch you next week for a new episode. Stay sweet.